Welcome to Marshal Myths, presented by the United States Marshals Museum. I am David Kennedy, Museum Curator. In this episode, I will talk about line of duty deaths. This falls under the status of fact check. So, first off, line of duty deaths, what are they? We have to ask a few questions. Was the death in the line of duty? Was the officer doing his or her job? Given the wide variety of responsibilities for the United States Marshals, this could have involved anything from escorting prisoners to serving a subpoena to guarding a courthouse. Is it in the service of the Marshals? The Marshals have needed support of others throughout their history. Special deputies, posse members, and others have found themselves in harm's way while aiding the U.S. Marshals in their mission. Is the death the result of actions on duty? While most line of duty deaths are relatively quick, effects of an incident can be long-lasting and sometimes not obvious. A recent example of this involved Deputy U.S. Marshal Zacharias Toro, who passed away in 2015. Deputy Toro was assigned to assist with search and rescue efforts at Ground Zero following the 9/11 attacks. He died as a result of cancer that developed over a 14-year period and was directly tied to his work as a Deputy U.S. Marshal. Disqualifying factors. Is the death the result of illegal activity or something not related to their position? An example of this is the case of Dallas Stoudemire, killed in El Paso on September 18, 1882. Known as a gunfighter and lawman in the air, he was sworn in as a Deputy U.S. Marshal in the territory of New Mexico. U.S. Marshal A.L. Morrison suggested Stoudemire go to El Paso to take care of any unfinished business. This unfinished business resulted in him laying dead outside a bar after starting a gunfight. For several years now, the staff of the museum has been telling a story about line of duty deaths that is not entirely correct. Based on the best information we had at the time, we told the story of more than 250 marshals, deputy marshals, posse members, and others who lost their lives in the line of duty. We understood that about half of these deaths took place in what is now Oklahoma and involved personnel solely based out of Fort Smith, Arkansas. Thanks to the latest research by museum staff, realizing both of these numbers are now inaccurate and we expect they will increase. Related, the official number of United States Marshals Service line of duty deaths is 262. You can check the link below to see the current official list. So, what has enabled us to get better information? Much more research on the subject has helped. Also, the museum staff, with a dedicated researcher we have in the way of Bob Ernst, he's an author, researcher, and is also former law enforcement. We also work with United States Marshals Service historian Dave Turk to make sure that we're moving in the right direction. And when you combine this with more and better data that's online, a better understanding of the past can be found. As a side note, the difference between the higher number we're beginning to use and the lower official number used by the United States Marshals Service is more a result of process than anything else. The Marshals Service follows a specific set of standards for each case file, as they should. They have approved case files for 262 names and are going through additional cases as they are able. These case files, however, have to be processed, investigated, and approved. Once approved, these names will be recognized officially. The museum has been helping to uncover these cases in order to better tell these stories. And being on the front line of this research, we simply get to tell the story sooner. With this research behind us, we now know that unofficially there have been at least 365 marshals, deputy marshals, posse members, and others who have lost their lives in the line of duty. 122 of these line of duty deaths took place in what is now Oklahoma, and about half of these deaths involved personnel based out of the Western District of Arkansas, right here in Fort Smith. The remainder of these deaths came from several different districts: the southern and eastern districts of Texas, the District of Kansas, and most of the various districts that eventually were formed in what is now Oklahoma. So, what's next? We need to have more research into new cases that come up on our radar. We need to have additional verification of the current research. And we're eventually going to have inclusion of this information in the Samuel M. Seacard Hall of Honor in the United States Marshals Museum to open in Fort Smith, Arkansas on September 24, 2019. If you have a question about this video or have a Marshals myth that you would like explored, please contact the museum by clicking on the links below. Thanks for watching.